Hello and welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews. So today I'm going to do carrying on with the best songs from 1994. So not a bad year. 93 was a bit of a mixed bag for me, but 94 was pretty good. So we got I've actually got 10 of my favourite songs of 94. So what you know the score by now. I kick off they're all my favourite songs from that year, but we go from 10 to 1, 10 being my least favourite of the best songs, if you like. So just a quick one. I've just started a job with long hours, so sometimes you might not see as many videos as usual. But I'm actually doing a video during my break. That's how dedicated I am. So, but when I obviously have a few days off, I'll make sure I bang in loads of videos as much as I can. So you might not see as many over like during the week, but you'll see plenty at other times. So without further ado, number 10. So, Downset, My American Prayer, from their debut album, Downset. So, obviously, Rage Against the Machine kicked in a couple of years before. Downset are that rap metal type thing. Now, I wasn't into every rap metal band, believe me. I don't like rap in itself without the metal, to tell you the truth. But Rage Against the Machine obviously done it perfectly, and Downset give it a good fucking go as well. The only thing I'd say with Downset, on a lot of their songs, a bit too much extreme vocals, a bit hardcore at times. But then again, when they actually didn't do them sort of vocals, they were great. Their rapping over the guitar work was superb, and this one is why I chose that one. My American Prayer is a blinding song. Check out Downset if you like Rage Against the Machine, and you'll probably like them as well. Right, that was my number 10. My number 9, Corrosion of Conformity, Albatross, off of Deliverance. So yeah, I really liked this album, Deliverance, Corrosion of Conformity, and I think this Albatross was I'm sure it was a single, and it was like, I don't know, it's more catchy, I suppose, than a lot of their stuff. Albatross was a great track, a real great track. I loved it. I haven't been into all of Corrosion of Conformity stuff, but I think that was a great song. Had to include it. My number 9. My number 8, Korn, Predictable, from the Korn debut album. So obviously they hit big, Korn. You can understand why. It was a lot of it was shock tactics. I'm not saying they did it that way. I think they put whatever they were feeling in that album. They meant it, you know. But I think a lot of people, the lyrics and the way they sounded shocked a few people, and I think it helped obviously in their success. But I did really like the debut album. It was for me, it was the same. It was a bit of a what the fuck was this? I loved it. Funny enough, Predictable. Sorry, I'm on tea break. Predictable is I don't know if they still don't like the song, but I was reading back then that was one of the songs the band actually didn't like at all. I think it's fucking great. I love the way it's, that real sludgy sort of guitar and more singing from the vocalist, than normal. I thought it was a great song. So that's my number 8. My number 7, Queensryche, My Global Mind from Promised Land. So, might be a bit of a weird choice for some people, but I think this is a really good track. Now, this is where I know Promised Land is a real favourite from some fans. Some fans, it's their best album. I think it's their best album. I don't. When you're talking best albums from Queensryche, I'm talking Rage for Order, Operation Mindcrime, then Empire, and then a dip in form for this, for me. But still a good album, but a real dip. You could see the start of what was to come, and through those series of poor albums, but this had some great tracks on it, and My Global Mind is, I don't know what I like about it. I think it's a really cool track. I think it's really great. That's my number 7. My number 6, Stone Temple Pilots, Meat Plow, from Purple. This is a real heavy track, and the Purple album in itself was great. It's some real good hit songs on here. And for me, they went downhill after this, Stone Temple Pilots. I think they lost some of that aggression that they had and this had a real pounding riff on it, you know, a real heavy riff. And Meat Plough, the title of the song probably suits it great. I think it's a great opener for an album. So that's my number 6. My number 5. This album actually appeared as number 1 on my list for 1994 albums. But, you know, it's an album full of great tracks, but it's Soundgarden and Limo Wreck from Super Unknown. Yeah, Super Unknown was one of the best grunge albums, if you want to put it in that category. And without a doubt, it was just full of great tracks from beginning to end. And I do like that more, the slower sort of Sabbathy stuff that Soundgarden do, and this is one of them. Limo Wreck is a superb song, and as usual, Chris Cornell just knocks it out of the park. Well, my number 4, Bruce Dickinson, Tears of the Dragon, from Balls to Picasso. The actual outstanding track on this album. You know, it ain't a bad album at all. It's quite good from Bruce, but Tears of the Dragon is the track that just stands out. You know, sort of ballady type thing. I was reading actually about it last night. I didn't know this is about his departure from Iron Maiden. So really interesting to hear that. But a great song. It was actually a single as well. Yeah, doesn't actually sound like a single. It's more like an epic-y sort of Iron Maiden sort of song, but is a brilliant song and a standout track on a really good album. Right, my number 3, Tesla and Shine Away from Bust a Nut. Easily the best track on Bust a Nut. Now, Bust a Nut for me is a brilliant album, but not quite on par with the first 3 albums. But I think where I mentioned in my album review of this, or the top albums, it's the consistency on this one. Whereas the first 3 albums, all the way through, were brilliant. You know, from start to end, no weak tracks. I think on this Bust a Nut, and I think it was quite a long album as well. So there was 3 or 4 tracks that were not throwaway. They were good, but they weren't outstanding like their first 3 albums, where they all were outstanding. That's my number 3. My number 2. Love this song. Nearly made it to my number 1, but not quite. Pantera, 5 Minutes Alone from Far Beyond Driven. Without doubt, the most crushing riff I've ever heard, and I know that I'm not into extreme music, and probably a lot of you guys that are probably thinking, crushing riff, it's fucking, it's nothing compared to what I listen to. But for me, it ain't always about speed, or, sometimes this song isn't fast or anything like that. But what a riff on this, and the guitar sound, I said before, I've never heard anything like it before or after it. It's such a brilliant guitar sound on this album, and 5 Minutes Alone shows that guitar sound for what it's worth, with them chords that are played. Fucking brilliant, and never heard one of the heaviest tracks I've ever heard. I think a brilliant track from Pantera, probably my favourite Pantera track ever. Well, my number 1, Alice in Chains, A Nutshell from Jar of Flies. I think I had to have this as number 1. Looking back now at what happened to Lane Staley, and that it's it's really sad, this song. It means more now than it actually did. And I thought it was, when it came out, it was such a sad song then. But now because of what happened and the troubles that he went through, it sort of makes you even think even more about this song now. And it's unusual, because for number 1 song to be an acoustic song, I do like some acoustic stuff, but I can take it or leave it sometimes. And that just shows I know it's got a little bit of electric guitar in this one, but it just shows how good this song is, that I've put it number 1 ahead of all those. And brilliant, outstanding vocal performance as usual by Lane Staley. And it had to be my number 1. So that's it. I really enjoyed doing this list, because I noticed, because I went back and looked at my albums of 94, and there's a lot of these tracks that were not on my top album. So it just shows you, it's worth doing these lists, because the top tracks might not necessarily be off my top album. So it's interesting. So, right, thanks for listening. Like I said, I won't be doing so many videos. Well, I do like Tuesday to Friday, so Tuesday to Friday you might get the odd video, but on the other days you should get a lot more, just to let you know, in case you was wondering when my videos are gone. But I still will, like, obviously make up for it when I'm on my days off. I'll do as many as I can. So all right, thanks for listening. If you've got any other suggestions that I might have missed and I can listen to as well, that you think I might not have heard at all, please let me know. That'd be great, and I can do a reaction. So subscribe, red button, bottom right hand corner. Cheers.